Hey nerds, I had the chance to watch the 14 job actions trailer last night during I believe it was the 61st live letter, and I'm super stoked because it looks like a lot of changes before I even got to see the slides for them are going to be really intense, especially for Summoner and Bard. So here's my reaction to watching the video, and if you guys want to see more 14 content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and in that comment, let me know. I'll see you guys at the next one. So I really like what they did with the jumps here and all of these cherry blossoms too. And the gauge is different, which is really neat, but he's not hitting any of his positionals, saying. Wait, was that an eye of Nidhogg that just came out from that? Oh, that was cool. I didn't even notice that last night when I watched this. I love how they try to make it look like you don't just spam one warrior ability. And they didn't change the gauge either, but I think this was the one that I was least excited about when I watched this for the first time. This and Scholar, especially Scholar compared to the new Summoner, where you're not even just summoning eggies, I call them, but I think they're edgies, but they're actually like the summons. It works like a summoner, which is really cool. And so seeing Scholar as the counterpart just didn't blow me away, but this didn't really blow me away either. Not that it's not pretty. I like how even the melee attacks for Red Mage look really good. I do wish, though, that the class played a little more than balancing the black and white magic to a certain degree and then spending it all going in and using those melee abilities and hopping back out. Like, I like the idea, but I wish it was a bit more complicated than the dual cast and then going in like that. But the abilities are really pretty. That was my favorite when I was watching this last night. I was like, what even is that? I don't remember ever seeing that ability before. But I don't know enough about Red Mage to know what it is either. Scholar, what What did you guys think about Scholar? Because this did not impress me. I think the gauge looks really good. But I feel like Scholar got kind of slighted compared to Summoner. There's like the shield, the little fairy does some fairy things. I mean, none of these abilities look bad, but I also still wish the fairy did more. In Dark Knight, not even the changes, because obviously there aren't any changes with the gauges, but one of the coolest things I saw last night from Dark Knight, from the little bit that I actually got to see before I go back and look at all of the actual job changes, is that Salted Earth is just going to be placed where you use it around you. That is so weird to me. I had a Salted Earth macro, and I just remember all of the memes when I was leveling Dark Knight, and I don't know. I feel like I'll miss it. I'll miss the ability going off, even though it didn't actually get placed. Wait, it is different. There's 2 dark side gauges. It looks like there's a gauge for you for dark side, and then it looks like there's a gauge for your dark side as well, for your dark passenger. Oh, that's neat. I feel like a lot of the dancer abilities just look the exact same. And I liked all of the outfits for dancer, but these abilities never really blew me away. Because bards are better. That was cool though, with the feathers. I feel like Machinist looks a lot more like Engineer in Guild Wars 2 now, just with like having the actual flamethrower and having something that literally uses like bio. I don't even know what it's called, but that first ability was really cool. I think that was the most impressed, except for like there's one ability that has a bunch of bullets that like just stay in midair and then shoot towards the target, which is really cool. Yeah, right here. And it looks a lot more techy than it used to. Chalk brought that up yesterday. And I don't know if that's us going to the moon or anything we're learning for Magitech, or like all of the extra stuff that we're getting for Sage is being implemented to other classes as well and making them all more techy. Normally I don't like stuff like this, but it actually looks really cool for Machinist. think I just like all of the actual trigger stuff for Gunbreaker. And using like the overload. And here's my baby. And every single one of Bard's abilities looks amazing. And this is why I can't get as into Dancer. Plus, there's this extra gauge on the side, which I haven't actually looked at any of the changes for Bard specifically, but it looks like with using a song that this gauge fills, and it looks like it buffs the Bard for once. For once, you actually get something from your music. They started to do that at the beginning of 5.0, and then they took it away, and I was kind of upset about it, but then they ended up buffing just the actual potency for multiple attacks for Bard, which actually ended up being like an 8% boost. But I was always really upset that you didn't benefit from your actual songs, and you were literally just a support. But this is actually really cool, because it doesn't look like you get as much of a benefit, but you still get something. If I'm not mistaken. I have to actually look at the changes. Wait, were the arrows for Refulgent Arrow bigger? Oh, they totally are! Minuet looks pretty much the same, except maybe bigger. But see, right here, using the song and it fills. And then goes away for the next song. And you actually have the music just stay around you, so I'm assuming that that's a benefit from your song. That's so cool. But it's only cool if they still leave all of the potency that it has to be able to compete. I just want it to be better than Dancer. See, I like the idea of Astro, but I dislike that they made it less complicated in Shadowbringers. Whoa! Oh, that was cool. That's cool. It looks like they're actually bringing it back to its old lore, rather than having that homogenization between healers. So I wonder how the actual abilities are going to work, but from the graphics, it looks like it's going back to the actual astrology feel. I wasn't impressed with Samurai. But it is a melee. It's so weird seeing now just, like, your opponent do that. Wait for you to attack, one swipe, wait for you to attack, essentially, one swipe.
Right.
Just, like, standing there and not really... Like, I know that they have different mechanics that they do, but after playing Guild Wars 2, it looks so different.
It's a very different...
Yeah. And Hingenbana actually looks a lot prettier than it did. Like, it already looked good, but they just enhanced it. Actually, I don't remember if it's Hingenbana or Midari Setsugeka, but still. And it looks like they're still keeping the Blood Lily for White Mage. Oh, that was pretty. Aww. I don't even know what that is, but you cast a little heart.
Oh.
Isn't that cute? Ninja I thought looked really cool because I don't remember this gauge at all. And all of the ninja abilities just look super... like, the way you would come out of stealth just throwing all of that daggers down is really cool. Although Doten is the same. What was that? Black Mage just makes me chuckle because all of the abilities always look big and bombastic. But what's really cool is that it looks like this area that you're actually fighting the dummies in is in Radzet Han, which is really, really neat. Oh, that was cool. That looked like you literally just sucked up your ley lines to do like a huge comet or something. And one thing that is funny that I will say is when I originally saw both Sage and Reaper, I was more excited for Sage. Because at the time, I had just leveled my White Mage, and I really liked the idea of DPSing and then just trying to get a couple of heals, like weave them into your rotation playing White Mage. And so I was excited to see what I could do with Sage and how much damage I could do with Sage, even though it's a healer. And when I saw Reaper, it looked neat, but it didn't look like it was finished. And so when I saw Reaper for this video last night, I was so much more impressed with the graphics and the way it looks like it plays. So before it just looked to me like a Dragoon with a scythe. Now it actually looks like a completely different job. But, like, even this looks better than Scholar. And it should, because it's new, but, I mean, this pretty much, except for having a fairy with all of the shields and stuff, I mean, it pretty much is Scholar. Isn't that sad?
I'm so sad with the hit.
Monk I was really impressed with. I think this new gauge looks so cool, and one of the things that I really like about it is if you kind of use your imagination a little bit, especially with the movement, the way that Monk moves in this trailer reminds me of Zell in FF8 so much. And I don't know if you guys know, but with the homage that Eden, obviously Eden, had to FF8 and Gunbreaker had for Squall, I really feel like now Monk is taking that homage for Zell too. And even like the tattoo on the side of Zell's face kind of looks a little bit like, I don't know, it's just cool. I was actually really hyped to see this too. When I saw Monk, I was like, whoa. And I saw that they're like lowering positionals for other things too, like twin snakes and stuff. I didn't actually, I read about that, so I'm excited to see what the actual change is, but I like the idea of positionals. But just the way Monk moves now is incredible. And I remember the rework in Shadowbringers being a big deal, so I'm excited to see what they're bringing out for Endwalker. But I want to level a Monk now. And Summoner. This is cool. The gauge is cool, the idea that you're actually summoning. I think that this was the hit of the live letter, to be honest. I wonder what the rotation and the precasting is going to be like, though. With the amount of stuff that you had to precast for Summoner previously, I wonder if it's still going to be the same. But this is neat. I think Titan is still my favorite, though, when he gets summoned. And actually going into melee. I actually thought this was really cool. And I like the gauge for that too, and then just to use it to come out and just look all badass. And I wonder how they're going to differ the story for Reaper to be different than Dark Knight. Oh, that's cool. Just attacked with giant swords, no big deal. So I really liked all of these. I think my absolute favorites were Monk, Summoner, and Bard. And probably my least favorites were Samurai and Scholar. But what did you guys like? What did you dislike? And what are you excited to play first?